Welcome to the Click podcast. I'm Danny Watson, a mindset and manifestation expert and founder of The Click, a company that helps women overcome their fears and limiting beliefs to create a life and business that they love. Within this podcast, I will help you get clear on what you want, identify the blocks that are holding you back, transform your mindset and raise your vibration so that you can co-create magic with the universe. If you are looking to design a life that truly sets your soul on fire and manifest more success and abundance, then you are in the right place. Hello, ladies! So today I want to talk about a really interesting topic, and this is something that has been coming up quite frequently with our clients, and that is the comfort of your negative beliefs, the positives of your limiting beliefs. Where are you holding up your limiting beliefs as truth, despite the fact that they are not serving you? So this is applicable for anybody who has been trying to transform their beliefs and they are struggling to actually flip the switch on those beliefs. So maybe you've already been doing some work on your mindset and you've got some really stubborn beliefs that no matter how much work you seem to do on those beliefs, you can't seem to transform them. And it may be because the belief that you are trying to transform has some positive benefit to it that you're perhaps not acknowledging. So sometimes it is incredibly difficult to let the beliefs that do not serve us go. We sometimes cling on to our limiting beliefs despite the fact that they're holding us back. So let me give you an example here. I was connecting with one of our students inside the Click Academy, our coach certification program, and one of the questions I asked her was, how much do you want to make as a coach? Now, I like to ask these type of questions quite spontaneously because I always find that the reaction to this question is fascinating when somebody isn't expecting it. So it's one thing to have been sat journaling on your goals for an hour and to be in this really high vibe, positive space where your heart is open and you're dreaming big. You know, it's quite easy to kind of vocalize our big dreams when we're in this high vibe space. But it's quite another thing to be asked this question when you are in the trenches of your business, doing the work, faced with all of these challenges, perhaps some setbacks. Will your conviction to your goals stand when things get tough? I think actually that topic is probably a conversation for a different podcast. But anyway, I asked this question out of the blue, and I was met with this almost panicked response. So she was like, oh, well, you know, I would just like to make enough money to be able to leave my job full time. You know, so I put her on the spot a little bit with this question. But I decided to probe her a little bit more. So I asked her, well, is that all? And then she replied, well, obviously I'd like to make more. I want to have a 6-figure business. But right now, my first goal is to make $5,000 a month so that I can comfortably leave my job. And it was that but that was something I paid attention to. Because normally when we use but after a goal, that but indicates that a part of us doesn't believe that that goal is possible for us. And I think this is a really important skill as a coach, to recognize the subtle uses of languages that a client is using that points to something that is going on below the surface. What is hidden behind the stories that they are telling you? So, for example, you know, we say things like, oh, but right now I'll be okay with less. Perhaps because a part of us doesn't believe we can actually have more. So we use the buts as a way of protecting ourselves from the pain of failure. And this is the first positive of a belief. Our beliefs can sometimes be the thing that protects us from pain. So if we have a cap on what we allow ourselves to believe is possible for our life, that's actually going to stop us from stepping up into something scary, something that we could potentially fail at or struggle with. So our beliefs actually shield us from that threat. So I actually used to believe for a very long time that I would struggle to make money as a business owner. So I think from a very, very young age, I'd always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I remember actually when CDs used to be a thing, remember them? And back in the day, I remember saving up my pocket money for a CD writer, which basically allowed me to copy my music CDs, and I would then sell them on to my friends that I went dancing with, my friends at school. And so I've always had this sort of entrepreneurial spirit behind me. But despite this, I was always fixated on going to uni, getting a job, joining the corporate world. There was a part of me that had clung to the belief that starting a business, rather than going down the traditional corporate route, would be far more difficult. And at a later date, when I started to really kind of figure out what was going on here, it was that my belief was protecting me from failure. So a corporate job felt safe. It felt secure. You know, I knew what I was going to get paid each month. I knew what my career path would look like. I knew that if I just worked hard, something that I was already used to doing, so that was kind of working hard was in my comfort zone. I knew that I just worked hard, I had a pretty good chance of getting to where I wanted to be. Whereas business, on the other hand, entrepreneurship, was a little bit different. It wasn't just about being smart. It was not just about working hard. It was far more unpredictable, or at least this is what I was believing. There was no manual. You know, in a job, you get trained. There are other people around you to learn from. In a business, whilst yes, you can get support from mentors and from coaches, for a large part, you're perhaps going to be on your own. But with the knowledge that I now have, I know that a part of me wanted to believe that entrepreneurship was hard, because it was so much easier and comfortable to go that predictable route. So my belief was protecting me from that fear of failure. And so when I asked my client about, well, how much money do you want to make as a coach? Her current belief system wasn't allowing her to go to those bigger numbers. It felt scary. There was that fear of, what if I set myself this goal and then it doesn't work out? So to let go of her beliefs about what she could earn would mean stepping up. It would mean doing things in her business that would make her feel uncomfortable. Okay, so it's going to be a lot more uncomfortable for us to set ourselves, say, 10K a month as opposed to 1K a month, because the difference in how we need to show up there's going to be a big difference there. You know, to hit that 10K a month, it is going to mean showing up more. It is going to mean putting yourself out there, opening yourself up to perhaps criticism or judgment, trying things and for them to not work the first time. And that's a really interesting thing, actually. This trying things and failing. The bigger the goal, the more times you will need to fail to get there. Smaller goals come with a much smaller degree of failure. Bigger goals are often going to take a lot more failures along the way. Okay, so, and we see this all the time, right? If you think about the hugely successful people that we respect and admire, the first person that springs to my mind here is J.K. Rowling. Okay, like where she has got to, like she has achieved so much in her life and off the back of, you know, those Harry Potter books, but she had to fail multiple times before she got there. And that's often the case with these huge, big things that people achieve. They've been, before that end goal came a lot of failures along the way. And this is just the same in business. Creating six figures, for example, it isn't just a case of setting up your business and then it magically works right away, sadly. You know, you need to test things. You need to tweak things. You will fail along the way multiple times. And the thought of that is sometimes so scary that it's easier to cling to that belief that the goal isn't possible for you. Therefore, you do not even try. To drop the belief, the pain of staying where you are has to be greater than the pain of that failure. In fact, I want you to write that down right now. To drop a belief, the pain of staying where you are has to be greater than the pain of that failure. Okay? The positives of your goal have to be more compelling than the comfort of staying safe. Now, let's also think about how we may cling to our belief system because it perhaps matches up with what our friends and our family believe. So if you look at who you surround yourself with, the famous quote by Jim Rohn is, "You are the product of the 5 people that you spend the most time with." So often our belief system matches up with the beliefs of the other people within our tribe. Now, it may be that you've been doing a lot of work on yourself and you've been changing some of your beliefs, and you may have started to challenge some of your beliefs. But for the most part, our beliefs match the circumstances in which we have been raised. So if we think to where our beliefs are formed, for the most part, they are formed at that early childhood age. So between the ages of 0 and 7, when we are like sponges and we just absorb everything that is going on around us, including the beliefs of the people that raise us. Now, this is partly because our brain is operating in a theta state. So as a child, we're operating in this theta state, which is a deeply receptive brainwave state. So we just absorb everything. But it's also because we want to fit in. So we are tribal in nature. We want to fit in with our tribe, with our communities. And back when we were actually living in tribes, if we went against the social norms of the tribe, it would mean expulsion or maybe even death, okay? So conformity then, it became a life or death situation, right? You either follow along with the tribe or else you're ostracized, or even worse, you're killed. Now, while modern society no longer operates in this way, we still have this deep-rooted desire to belong and to be accepted by our tribe, by our communities. And so then when it comes to changing our beliefs so that what we believe is different to those around us, this can sometimes feel a bit uncomfortable. And this is why we sometimes then have this challenge in dropping negative beliefs. So let me actually take an example here. A huge belief of my own that I've worked on over the years is the belief that making money is hard work. Now, I am from a family of hard workers. My mother, my grandma, my dad. As a child, my dad would always be working away. I think for like the first 3 months of my sister's life, he was in Libya on a job. So sometimes it would be hard work for months on end to provide for his family. And in fact, working hard was actually something that my family would pride themselves on. They'd wear it as this badge of honor. So for me to then challenge my own belief that making money is hard work, it would also mean me challenging the beliefs of my tribe. It'd be me going against what the rest of my family believed. And a part of us want to cling on to these beliefs as a way to keep ourselves integrated with the group. So I see this show up a lot with our clients, especially actually when it comes to making money. So a lot of our clients will initially struggle to change their money beliefs because a part of them will fear that if their own finances change, so if they change their money beliefs and their finances then change off the back of that, they may no longer be accepted. They will be seen as different from the tribe. So the way that I often see this play out, which is a huge indicator that they're struggling to change their beliefs about money, is when a client will be scared of sharing with their loved ones, with their family or with their friends about their big income goals. It will make them feel really, really uncomfortable to tell their loved ones that some of their bigger goals for their business. They're fine sharing their goals in the group, so with the other clients that we're working with, because in that group, those types of goals would be accepted because everybody's got, these same big lofty goals. But when it comes to telling other people that aren't within this industry, their friends, their family, they often feel uncomfortable about sharing their goals with that community because those goals go against the belief system of that tribe. So often I'll have clients report to me some of the beliefs of their loved ones when they share with them that they want to become a coach. So I had this conversation just actually a few days ago with somebody who had been chatting with her mum about her decision to become a coach and, you know, some of her goals and some of the experiences that she'd kind of heard from other coaches who were now successful in their businesses and making incredible money. And her mum had said to her, well, nobody can make money that quickly. You can't make money that quickly. Or another thing that came up was she said, well, you know, they must have had to sacrifice a lot. You're going to have to burn yourself out and make a lot of sacrifice to make that kind of money. And is that really what you want? And without realizing it, the client was then clinging on to those same beliefs because of this intrinsic need for acceptance. Okay? So where are you perhaps doing that? Where are you perhaps clinging to the beliefs of others that you love and you want to, you know, be accepted by and loved by, but it's costing you your fullest potential because you're holding on to beliefs that aren't serving you? Now, the third reason why we often cling to our limiting beliefs is because it's human nature to want to be right, okay? We love to be right. Of course we do. Like, who doesn't want to be right at things? It feels, our ego takes a bash when we are wrong. So if somebody comes along and challenges you on something that you have adopted as your truth for so long, it is so easy to get defensive about things. So let's just think of an example here. Let's think about when you had a discussion with somebody who believed something completely different to you. How did that make you feel? Now, I want you to think back to that situation, and I want you to ask yourself honestly, did it make you question your belief? Or did it make you stand by your belief and protect it even more? And here's the thing, often this is where our ego starts to kick in. Our ego wants us to be right, and this is where sometimes our beliefs, we get defensive over them. Our desire to be right can overpower our ability to transform. It can sometimes be a difficult pill to swallow to realize that a lot of what we've believed over the years is not actually fact. We haven't been right on these things. A part of us doesn't want to believe this because we don't want to have been wrong, especially if we've been wrong for so many years. And this is where evidence that challenges the belief is going to be required. So let's just go back, and going back to you and that friend having a discussion about something you both believe, you know, you've both got completely different beliefs on. But then let's say your friend presents you with evidence so compelling that you have no choice but to question your belief. Okay, let's say she presents to you all of this powerful evidence as to why her belief is true. And then you then start to question yourself. You start to question your belief system. Now, at this point, your ego may take a bit of a bash in admitting that you were perhaps wrong, but your belief will also begin to waver. And this is sometimes what we need in order to challenge a belief, evidence to the contrary. And this is something you can do right now. Find evidence that proves your belief system to be wrong. So if you believe that hitting 7 figures, let's say you want to become £1 million business owner. You want to have a £1 million business. But let's say that you believe right now that doing that means never seeing your kids. Go and find somebody who is living proof that hitting that income goal while spending quality time with their family is possible. So often I will, for our clients, I will actually use my own experiences of evidence of what is possible for them. So I am somebody who is hitting these big income milestones while having lots of intentional time to spend with my daughter. Another good example here is the belief that you need to have money if you want to make money, or that it's easier to make money if you have money to invest. So a lot of our students and clients come to us and they think, well, it was easy for that person to make lots of money because they're already rich. They've got a rich husband that's, bankrolled them. They've got parents that have bankrolled them. They've stepped out of a 6-figure corporate job. So they've got that, finances to build their business. They will cling to that belief. And I use my own experiences as evidence to the contrary. So I had very, very little money when I started my business. I was actually less than little money. For those of you who know my story, was in quite a significant amount of debts. And, this wasn't for, I was in work, I was employed, I was getting paid reasonably well, but I was struggling financially. And I actually remember somebody who started their business around the same time as me. So we were actually in a group program together, and we chatted quite a few times, and she told me that she had been given a $15,000 loan from her parents to start her business. Okay. And despite having a financial leg up over me, everything in my business seemed to move a lot quicker and seemed to take off a lot quicker. And actually, I connected with this person not so long ago, and she's now doing something completely different. So she isn't even in that coaching business anymore. And so again, this is evidence to the contrary, to show that you don't need a lot of money to make money. It's not always easier. So I can use these examples of my experience as evidence of what is possible for my clients to help them challenge their beliefs. So let's just recap then, the topic of today is, where are you unable to drop the negative belief because that negative belief is in some way serving you? If you're perhaps finding it difficult to let a certain belief go, is it perhaps serving you in some way? Maybe it's because it's keeping you safe. Maybe it's because it's helping you to feel accepted and connected to your loved ones, to your friends, to your family. Or maybe it's because of your desire to be right. That ego just doesn't want to be wrong on this. Or maybe it's all of the above. Chances are it probably will be all of the above. When I've done the work on my own beliefs, it's normally a combination of these things that is causing me to cling on to that belief. So if you have a belief right now that is being really stubborn, it's worth checking in to see how you may be getting some sort of positive effect from this belief. All right, ladies. Well, I hope you got a lot of value from today's episode. It was amazing to connect with you as always, and I will speak with you again very, very soon. If you are wanting to build your own successful online coaching business, make sure to check out Freedom, Abundance and Impact, our free 10-day business and mindset course for coaches and aspiring coaches. To access, simply head to wearetheclick.com and click free course in the menu.